Good morning, good afternoon, and evening, everyone. My presentation this evening is on the convergence of disciplines, purpose, and people. First, thank you for inviting me to speak about placemaking and the arts and the work we do to shape the world, not as a consultant, not as a scholar, but as a practitioner. I found this to be most intriguing as I've been one that juggles many things to shape not only my own world, but 100 of children under our care in Singapore. It is also a privilege to be zooming in with positive people in this summit as it makes for a better optimistic view of what's going on around us amid the pandemic. Briefly, I co-founded an organization with a group of colleagues in 2014 to harvest the arts. Our intent, as always, is to harvest the potential of the arts for the benefits of the underserved children and youth within a community by creating an end-to-end platform that provides a holistic and sustained experience or even employment. Importantly, our mission is social, but our means remains highly laissez-faire. We have actually established a comprehensive end-to-end roadmap that has a regional market access for Singapore's arts, artists, culture, and industry. You could see from this organizational that we reach out to children from the ages of 6 to 12, where most of them come from very challenging environment, and we provide arts training. And to date, we have graduated over 20,000 children and youth since 2005 with the support of the Business Time Budding Artist Fund. And after training, you could see that we provide opportunities platforms through our organization called Global Culture Alliance, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Rice Company. And should these children and youth decide to be entrepreneurs, our investment holding, Minute Holdings, will guide them through their business plan. It is a comprehensive end-to-end roadmap, and though the task can be daunting at times, it's all for a meaningful cause, but in a very sustainable way. We do this through our work in the real estate, and for me, over the last 25 years. Over the past 25 years, I've had the privilege to work on several iconic buildings here in Singapore, including Chimes, a 180-year-old former convent that was restored into a leading lifestyle destination and awarded a commendation mention by UNESCO for conservation in the late 90s. The Arts House at the Old Parliament, Singapore's oldest government building, restored for the use of the arts, and several more other conserved buildings. In 2011, we started to better understand placemaking, the science of community engagement in real estate with the development of Goodman Arts Centre and Aliwat Centre. And in 2014, where TRCL was incorporated, we started to work on the effective use of underutilized space for the community. We converted a 16,000 square foot car park space at Orchard Central, Singapore into an arts training center. There are some other spaces which we work on in the last few years. Today, we work with many developers and government institutions in Singapore and across the region to bring the community, the arts, and the economics together. However, personally, a burning question lies beneath myself. What makes a brick and mortar space into a flourishing community must be more than just good design, engineering, and the environment. There must be other more subtle factors that shape how inclusive, cohesive, and supportive a place feels. I then discovered what we call the meaning economy. As you have heard some of the speakers has mentioned, and likewise over in some of the thinking thought, would we ever be replaced? What will be the future of work like? Are we headed into a world where human being just becomes batteries and the divide becomes wider? I'm an optimist, and I believe this won't happen because we are really living in a world of what we call the economy of meanings, in which people are engaged in the production and exchange of meaning. In effect, we have seen that people will pay more because they do things that add meanings to their lives. A good example is music. Most people argue that we purchase music for entertainment. The problem with this analysis is that it gives no indication of why some songs are wildly more successful than the other. In the economy of meaning, the reason is very clear. People purchase music because it adds meaning to their lives. And the success of a song can be measured by the meaning it adds to one's life. This applies to the arts, books, music, educations, or services such as going to a therapist or taking a yoga lessons. Hence, it all came together and explained that what the 20-odd years have a deep reason why such a place has special significance from the formation of towers of meaning in the minds of individuals in the spaces that I work with, like Chimes and the Arts House at the Old Parliament. The arts can be a primary source of meaning, acting to unlock as yet unreached portions of our mind. And this experience of space is the first step along a path of building one's consciousness. These are not just frivolous entertainment seeking, but activities that are essential or even the ultimate motivations of human existence. However, what it does is that another question starts remaining. That is, in this highly disrupted world, must we be physically present? And I found that in a report that I read, that with the proliferation of technology, our attention span has now less than 9 seconds, just like an average goldfish. How then do we create meanings? We embark on this thing called Metaverse Creator, a methodology that we created over the last 5 years. Let me share what this is. Metaverse Creator is a methodology to build a digital platform to enhance real estate planning that meets end-to-end user needs. The platform components enable users to experience development digitally. The virtual interactions provide developers with real-world inputs to enhance development features for highly successful projects. Importantly, it co-creates a digital twin to derive new ideas and possibilities. It is what we call a disruptive real estate master planning platform that involves virtualization and citizen consumers engagement through gamification and ethnographic studies. This is a simple snapshot of Metaverse Creator. The methodology we apply can be divided into 4 quadrants: visualizations, gamification, commercialization, and tokenization. It is not gimmicky, but it can be used. We've spent the last 5 years perfecting this. This felt was important because it allowed for better ideation, co-creation, which is what shaping the world is all about. But faced with many skeptics and naysayers, we have not successfully launched it until this current pandemic. We managed to convince a company, a listed co in Singapore, to launch this in Malacca, Malaysia. In the absence of time, I will not go into in details, but we have already started the work in a place that's owned by the company Hatton Land. They have taken the first step in trying to digitize the entire Malacca, to co-create, to ideate, to create a digital platform so that everyone, regardless of whether borders are open or not, could have a glimpse of one of the most historic and iconic places in this part of the world. We've also gathered like-minded individuals in the technology field to work with us in making this, to roll this out in Malacca. These are some of the pictures of Malacca. If those of you have not, you heard about Greece, it's also good to come down to this part of the world. We've started our work in digitization. But all these things, all these poems went back to something in which I talk about and to go back to unpack what I've been trying to say. When we were producing one of the show, and this is something that I hold firm is, regardless of whatever we do, what's the meaning. And ultimately, I came to realize it is about the people, those who run the house, those who use it, those who work for the house, and those who work with it. Was a quote that I placed it in a book that we published about 6 or 7 years ago. I like to conclude by saying we shape the world with meaning together along the digital highway. I'd like to thank the organizer, Lawrence, counselors, and it's a privilege to have actually met everyone because the knowledge I've learned today has really resolved many of the questions I've been asking. Thank you.